Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having a Sagittarius Sun and a Virgo Ascendant in a natal chart. Now, these signs are square by sign. They are adverse and adversarial as far as the by sign. They are square by sign. So um, there's a strong disparity between these two signs. Sagittarius is a masculine sign, is extroverted. Virgo is introverted. It's a feminine sign. So you have a very outgoing, gregarious Sagittarius Sun, and you have a Virgo ascendant that could actually be rather reticent, could actually be more passive, um, a little bit more shy than the typical. They're going to be more shy than the typical Sagittarius Sun, and reality is when you look at this, there's also other differences. There's also the Sagittarius Sun can be adventurous, outdoorsy, and can be very often very athletic. And Virgo Ascendant really is not really as much about that on average. Is more indoorsy and is generally, from my observations and my perceptions, is not nearly as athletic on average compared to Sagittarius. So you have a very strong contrast between these two signs. The Sagittarius Sun can be very forthright, blunt, and outspoken, and Virgo tends to be tactful and diplomatic. So the Virgo Ascendant may very well add a little bit more prudence, and this person might be more assiduous and prudent regarding some of their philosophies that Sun and Sagittarius would ordinarily just almost blurt out, maybe indiscriminately at times. Really, when you look at the sun sign, the sun sign represents our basic wants. And the rising sign or ascendant can represent the manner or method in which one attains these basic wants. So with Sagittarius Sun, the basic wants can be connected with philosophy, higher education, with religion, and sports even. Being that perpetual learner or scholar, connected with finding the truth, being truth seeking, and even the basic ones can be connected, perhaps with the outdoors and learning higher education, going beyond high school as far as their learning goes. And the thing about, and also expanding horizons. So when you look at Virgo Ascendant may go about these things, one or more of these things, in a more rather methodical and prudent and systematic manner. This person may step back and go through a little bit analysis and premeditation, which is connected, I believe, with earth signs, and really and not really jump the gun in terms of their actions as the typical Sagittarius may. They're not going to be quite as, I guess you could say, daring or impetuous or impulsive, because Virgo rising will strongly modify this, and this person will look around before this person embarks on territory, so to speak, that was uncharted. So. And also, this person might find, like Sagittarius Sun, so a lot of their basic ones, as I stated before, about the higher education and post high school studies. Perhaps this person takes something in maybe a Virgo, perhaps a Virgo type study, and may or may not apply it to a profession, such as something with data communications, dealing with a lot of data, perhaps medical billing and coding, because you have Virgo, the medical industry, and also a lot of details that have to. Virgo rising can be very punctilious with details, to say the least. It could be something where this person, like for example, I thought was interesting is that Walt Disney, who I believe is the founder of Disney. Of the Disney company and the Disney animation and films and the cartoons or what have you. Now, he has the Sun in Sagittarius and a Virgo Ascendant. Well, Sun in Sagittarius can be about being comical and humorous, and I think it's interesting because you have this was injected strongly into Disney's work life, of course. This humor was shown in animation. Now, Mercury rules Virgo, and Mercury can be connected with mobility. So I think you have that little animation in there can be connected with Virgo to some degree. So I thought it was interesting how he was able to kind of incorporate those two, and I think that's very telling of his Sagittarius Sun and Virgo Ascendant. And this person might, as far as sports or athletics go, this person might do something which requires this could almost be like a good coach, because you would it would be the sports with Sagittarius would be done, something would be go about it with a lot of analysis, in which you have to do a lot of times as far as being like a professional coach. So, and also something which deals with something like a stockbroker could be something I could see this person do, because you'd be dealing with the Sagittarius strong vision, and then it would be used perhaps with extrapolation of data, which is a very strong kind of perhaps a Virgo affinity. Well, anyway, it's important to look at the aspect that is made, if any, between the Sun and Sagittarius and the Virgo Ascendant, as this can indicate how these energies may integrate, and whether they may not integrate as well, or maybe not a whole lot if they're unaspected, or if they make a negative aspect, then they might interact and maybe more adversely. Now, they are adversarial anyway by sign, but let's say if you have a square aspect, that could exacerbate the negativity perhaps of this aspect, let's say of the two signs. Now, let's say that the Sagittarius Sun is 22 degrees, and let's say that the Virgo Ascendant is 25 degrees. That would be an adverse aspect. It is square, and even if the person is not cognizant of his or her astrological placements, it can indicate that this person may feel what they're projecting outwardly is much different than what is going on inside, which can cause perhaps some feelings of exasperation and tension due to perhaps feeling misconstrued or misunderstood. However, you could actually have an out-of-sign sextile or trine aspect take place. Let's say that the Sagittarius Sun is 1 degree and the Virgo Ascendant is 29 degrees. That would form an out-of-sign sextile aspect, and that could be auspicious. And even though you have the signs are incompatible by sign, you might have a little positive integration or better working of these energies because of that. And the same could be true if you have a trine, out-of-sign trine aspect take place between these energies. Let's say that you have the Sagittarius Sun at 28 degrees and you have a Virgo Ascendant at 1 degree. That would form an out-of-sign trine aspect, which is similar to what I described with the sextile aspect. Now, the Virgo. Now, let's say also look at the house placement of the Sagittarius Sun, because even though the Sagittarius Sun energy may be suppressed to some degree due to the Virgo Ascendant, it may still come out at least somewhat prominently in that particular house it's posited in. Let's say the Sun in Sagittarius is in the 3rd house. Well, this can indicate that ebullient and that expansiveness of Sagittarius might come out very strongly in their communications, and perhaps with siblings, if applicable, and in their neighborhood, their local neighborhood. So, and the Sagittarius energy might be diminished a little bit because it would be in a cadent house as well. Now, let's say that the Sagittarius Sun is posited in the 4th house. Well, that you could see perhaps this philosophical nature and that strong exuberance and enthusiasm in Sagittarius might come out perhaps in home and family related matters, whether it could be renovation or working on a home, and just their nature with their family perhaps in general. Now, if the Sun in Sagittarius is posited in the 5th house, this Sagittarius ebullience, their exuberance, their expansiveness might come out strongly in matters connected with their romance and their creative endeavors and things that they generally enjoy and have fun and amusement with. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having the Sun in Sagittarius and a Virgo Ascendant in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having a Sagittarius Sun and a Libra Ascendant in a natal chart. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.